Hey everyone, welcome into another episode of No Holds Barred here at the Toronto Sun. WWE returning to Canada this weekend with SmackDown at the Bell Centre in Montreal on Friday, followed by Saturday night's main events. Our guest today will be competing on that card on Saturday in a fatal four-way to determine the number one contender for the undisputed WWE Championship at the upcoming Royal Rumble. It is Mr. Whoop That, Trick Williams. Trick, great to speak with you today.
Hey, Rob, Jane, good to see you, man. Let's talk about
Yeah, for
Mr.
sure.
Lemon Pepper Stepper, Rob. Let's be correct here.
That's true. I
it.
got to get the
Mr.
name
Lemon Pepper
correct.
Stepper is in the building.
Too many nicknames to keep track of these days. But man, first off, congrats on the call up to the main roster. You've been making waves now on SmackDown for a couple of weeks here, and you're in this fatal four way, as I mentioned: Randy Orton, Sami Zayn, Damian Priest on Saturday. I imagine
That's
it's
right.
been just a whirlwind with the travel overseas for you. Now you've got coming up to Canada this weekend. But what has this past month been like for you?
Man, my passport is being used. I haven't been out the country of America this much ever. So, that's always a cool thing. But I'm excited, man. I mean, the crowds have been great. Germany was great. London was great. Now, Montreal, don't disappoint. You know what I mean? I know you got Sami Zayn, the hometown kid in the building, but Mr. Whoop That, Mr. Lemon Pepper Stepper is ready to make some waves. Let's talk about it.
I'm always fascinated by people's backstories. Yours is one of just you did so many things to sort of push yourself to where you are. You sent a tape in for the XFL. I mean, you played football. You worked at Orange Theory Fitness. You delivered
Uh,
DoorDash. You were auditioning for TV shows, and then you get this big break, and like you have taken this break that you've been given, and just you're riding it to the moon. Talk a little bit about that weird journey you took.
Man, well, you definitely did your research. I appreciate that, man. But yeah, I mean, crazy enough, like I feel like every step, every journey along the way has prepared me for this moment to, stand across from Randy Orton, stand across from Sami Zayn in Montreal, like, just being resilient, walking on to the University of South Carolina, I think that was one of the first times I really saw myself having to kick the door down to get to where I wanted to be. You know what I mean? I had a good situation at Hampton University, but I wanted to walk on to a top four team in the nation, being the University of South Carolina, where, it wasn't a popular decision. People didn't necessarily see that for me and my career, but I knew what I wanted. So I was relentless, moving towards that. And I would say ever since then, I've been jumping and taking risks. You know what I mean? Jumping into professional wrestling, jumping across the country during COVID to train at Knox Pro, out there with Rikishi, just taking risks to be something or someone that I was proud of and who I felt like I needed to be. So yeah, man, the backstory I can go on for days. I don't know how much time we got, but
It's
it
amazing.
brought me here.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's really interesting when you look at wrestlers and where they came from and the early beginnings and to see where you are now. How different is the Trick Williams that we're seeing now in WWE compared to the Sweet Daddy Trick that we would have seen years ago?
But y'all really did your research.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, so I would say this. I think my super skill is unwavering, unbelievable faith in myself and God, of course. Thank you, God. This delusional faith that I can get it done regardless of how tough the task is, and I genuinely believe in my heart, like if I really approach it full speed, then I can get it done. So that sweet daddy trick version of me that you saw at CZW, it was all confidence, all aura, all, you know, all here what I believed my professional wrestling career was going to look like without having any experience at the time. Now where I am today, Trick Williams has that same delusional faith, but 6, 7 years in the game, performing and working on my craft and getting actually better at what we do and what this business is about. I would say that's the biggest difference.
Wrestling is different in a lot of ways, but I think one of the biggest differences for me in football, you kind of control your destiny by how good you are at that sport, and in many other things. But in professional wrestling, you rely on other people to help elevate your character, to help, you know, get that more TV time and more exposure and championships and things to really grow? Who have been some of the people who've kind of, you know, helped you along the way to help, you know, lift up Trick Williams?
Oh man, well it depends how far back you want to go. First thing, like I say, God, my pops, my mom, they supported me when it was just a wild dream. But in the business, I mean, Booker T. Booker T took a liking to me early on when it might not have been the most popular decision at the time. You know what I mean? And it did wonder for me. You know what I mean? He took me under his wing and said, "Hey, let's break down some film. Let's watch this. Let's watch that. You know, move a little bit more like this. This shows, you know, more confidence. This will transfer better." You know, Terry Taylor. You know, he was pretty much my guy inside the PC. You know, I still train with him till this day. He's just been great for me, and you know, he's great at understanding the business. Matt Bloom, Shawn Michaels, of course. Uh, the first guy I rolled around with, the Alabama ambassador. His name was Jacoby Boykins. You know, when I decided I was going to actually start training and pursue professional wrestling, you know, he took me under his wing and, you know, we hit the ring for the first time, you know, outside the tryout. So shout out to Jacoby. Yeah, DJ Hyde, my first, you know, wrestling match I had at CZW as Sweet Daddy Trick. You know, he spoke some words of affirmation way back then. You know, it had me working a match when I had no business working a match in front of some of those people, man. I've probably been training for a couple weeks, but he saw something in me there. So I've been very fortunate, man. Like, I call myself, you know, another moniker I have is the anointed one. And I really do believe that. Like, you know, it's just a great feeling when you feel like you found, you know, your pedestal in life where you're going to be able to, you know, shine and do what you do best. And this is who I am, man. I was born to be in this business.
Wow.
You know, I was listening to you just talk there about the training that you did while at the PC, and you know, I've listened to interviews where you talk about film sessions and you're in promo classes, and kind of felt like I was listening to someone talk about being a pro athlete, like in a sport like football, where there's, you know, all that off the field kind of stuff. Does your football background allow you to, you know, help with that transition to wrestling and all the things that go into it?
Absolutely. Like, I mean, I feel like, you know, I played football for 20 years. I know that sounds crazy, but, you know, I started when I was 4. I played for 20 years, a lot of ups, a lot of downs, and especially those downs, man. Like, the success is really cool and people love to hear about the ups, but it's the downs that really like test the character and that gives you what it actually takes to succeed in life, I feel. Because, man, I had some adversity, you know, playing a game of football with, you know, coaching changes and, not, I've been very fortunate with the injuries, but there's different things in the game that you might not see unless you're actually in the game that kind of holds you back. But all of these things is actually what prepared me to like learn how to keep going, keep pushing through. Like, hey, even when it doesn't look promising for you, man, you gotta keep working, you know, perfecting your craft. And that, even though it didn't result in me, you know, winning a Super Bowl or anything like that, it transferred directly over to what I'm doing now and becoming a WWE superstar. So the equity that I have, you know, people think like, oh man, it happened overnight with WWE. Nah, man, I've been training my whole life, you know, literally since I was 4 years old. You know, I can't remember the last time I took 3 days off straight of working out. That's just, it's just who I am at this point.
It's incredible. I mean, I think maybe for people who don't follow wrestling, to understand how popular football is in the States is to be like up here, everybody plays hockey. You grow up playing
Right.
hockey. The competition to become somebody who plays at the college level or in the NFL, that's a long shot, right? Because there are so many people playing that sport. You not only did you conquer football, but now you're conquering wrestling. You're already in the history books, though. You already became the first WWE contracted wrestler to win the TNA championship. That must have been a really cool moment for you, right? Those crossovers are so new.
Yeah, it's new, it's rare, and anytime, like you said, Jane, that you can be the first person to ever do something, bro, that's what it's all about, man. So I'm definitely grateful for that. Putting my feet on the average Joe Hendry. It was a great time, and shout out to TNA, man. They're on AMC. They got a new new deal going. And also shout out to Tourism Montreal for having us and setting everything up for us to put on a good show. We really do appreciate y'all here at WWE.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun coming up this weekend with SmackDown and Saturday night's main event. By the way, congrats. You recently got engaged. WWE Superstar Lash Legend, who we got a chance to speak with last week. She was so great to chat with. And you're both now on SmackDown, reunited at the same brand. What's it been like for you to watch her make her mark on the main roster? Because she's doing big things right now with Nia Jax on the women's division.
Yeah, man, she's doing great. You know, this is who we always knew that she was. It's just awesome to see, honestly, because, you know, I mean, I don't know. I'm just a fan of her and her work. You know, she looks amazing while she does it. And now we get to travel the world together. Like I said, we've been to Germany, London, we're going to Montreal, and WWE is paying for it. So, you know, we get to have a good, you know, we feel like we found a cheat code in life, man. This is crazy. And we get to support each other. And it's an amazing time, man. Words can't explain.
We talked to her last week, and she said she's a big foodie. So we gave her a list of things to try when she gets to Montreal. Those will apply to you as well. Make sure you get a poutine. And I mean, it doesn't look like you eat too many carbs, too many French fries with that physique. But you need to try them while you're in Montreal this weekend.
Oh, she's already told me she already has the whole schedule set up for what restaurants we're going on Friday and Saturday before the show. So now she means the foodie thing. Like, man, we love to eat and see what the culture is about. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, so Montreal definitely one of the better food places in North America to check out. Last one for me, Trick. We've talked a lot about the football background. Are you watching the NFL playoffs? And if so, who are you rooting for here now that we're down to the Final Four?
You know, I'm loosely watching because my Eagles lost.
Tough one, yeah.
So yeah, it's a tough one. You know, we just couldn't get together offensively this year, but next year we'll be back. But yeah, man, I'm kind of liking the Patriots story right now. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing the Patriots and the Rams. I think that'd be a good way to go in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that story is wild. And then the Bills firing their coach made absolutely no sense.
Yeah, that's a pretty wild one. That's a pretty wild one. But I mean, football's going great this year, man. Like you saw, Indiana won a national championship. Never thought that would happen in college football. So it's just a great time to be alive, man.
Well, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan. Very excited to see you this weekend and just follow your journey. I mean, like I said, when I was getting ready for this interview, I was just like, wow, what a journey. That's the story to me. It's when you get to the top, it's what brought you along the way that separates, the real good ones from the ones that were kind of maybe an easier journey. Yours was not an easy journey, and it's really fun to watch, man.
I appreciate it, man. God is good. I give him all the glory. But thank y'all for having me, man. And y'all had some good questions for me. I had to dig deep. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
That.
Yeah, appreciate the time, Trick. All the best this weekend in Montreal, and hopefully we'll talk again soon.
All right, sounds good.